it kind of faded a little bit.
I was like,
I know I fixed it, but I don't know if that was
the I vote faded.
It was fadey.
Okay. It was fadey.
It was
maybe.
It was like,
I know at least one person was eagerly waiting the adjustment on this intro.
Are those overalls?
Those are overalls. I came prepared.
Me too.
Oh man, I could have worn my overalls.
I was not kidding.
Yeah, this is 18-year-old Kev right here. Oversized jersey. Oversized. Okay. Definitely a chain.
Obviously.
Glasses as much as possible. Hat to the side. Hat to the side. There you go.
So yeah, overalls, actual overalls. Crop top, which the overalls disguises, but it's there. Trust me. Big hoop earrings. I would have other overalls, but my husband judges me too much. Otherwise, I would still wear them every single day. Just
I mean, I have overalls. I should have worn them. I'm also wearing a crop top, so we could have been Twinkies.
In fairness, I commented on your post and I said, I am outfit ready. I literally carried this down from the top floor of my house to the bottom floor of my house to wear. I do not play around when it comes to overalls. Oh my goodness, the chat is already lighting up. Okay, anyway.
And now. Nope. No. This is what happens when you have a 3-year-old that just won't play nice. Okay, you're frustrated. You know, you're anxious. You're a little nervous. I got like some sweat under the brow. Okay, like he won't let me do what I'm supposed to do, which is be here with these glasses on, talking to you guys. Anyway, don't we do something at the start of shows? Hey, Lucas.
Sometimes.
Hey, Thomas. Jennifer. Sultan.
Yeah, we should definitely greet people.
Yeah, Thomas.
How are you? Because our friends have found the stream.
Sultan.
They are
Lucas
having a comment party. Juju does rule. That's facts. Thomas is wearing a toga?
Yeah, but sometimes he rules in the ways you don't necessarily want. Yeah. And they hold me down. They do hold me down. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about today, Kevin.
No, because we're talking about reliving the glory days. And we have a guest that's going to help us do that.
Good old days.
We know how this goes, guys. So, bye. My turn. Hey, guys. Kev here. Oh, no, just joking. I'm not going to do that. We got a guest for you today, so that means I have an intro I got to do, right? Okay. Y'all know he was an international DJ, right? Okay, cool. Just checking. Let's vibe. Let's vibe. Just 1 second. Just give it a sec. Let it play out. Okay. Our next guest. He knows no bounds. I mean, he was an international DJ. You know, sex, drugs, rock and roll. And instead, he turned founder of Growth Habit. Kids will do that. KK Papa, you know what I'm talking about, Rob. But what does he do? He helps your favorite coach's favorite coach scale their business to success. And then he 2X's that. But if you ask him honestly, he'd tell you honestly, we don't need any more life coaches. And thank you. Shout out to Moana right there. He's been featured in Forbes. He's been featured in Entrepreneur. Hell, I did a post about him, and it doesn't get much bigger than that if you ask me. We're asking me. Okay, real quick. He gave up his 6-figure income and desk job to be with us today. Good luck with that. Okay, anyways, it's important to us that you know that he belongs on this stage. And belong he sure as hell does. So here's Rob's top 3 snarky post headlines. 1. Who f***ing cares? Yeah, I'll say you checked the box in the first one there and you almost made me curse. Thanks, Rob. Okay, number 2. What if you didn't have to wait to hit the 6 or 7 figures? Actually, that's not so much as a snarky post as I'm actually kind of a little annoyed and perturbed that we're now just having this discussion right here. Rob, I'm going to talk to you later about that. Anyways, number 3, I've been lying to you. Well, at least he's honest. Robb Gilbear!
I will never ever have a better intro anywhere. I can retire. It's done. Like, this is my last day at anything. That was hilarious and amazing, and thank you so much.
I mean, this is the actual glory day, right?
Oh, it really is. This is
forget everything that happened in the 90s. This is your moment. Your life has led you to this.
It's probably 2x. It's probably like a 20x, but you know, that'd be huge value. Perturbed yet?
What's that? Oh, perturbed yet? There, you're reading it. It's like you're talking.
No, he doesn't. No, because he was very clear. No more life coaches.
Well, this is awkward.
Oh, that's right.
I can't even. Like, my cheeks are hurting.
You're fine, Jenny. It's fine.
I've got new wrinkles already from the laughter from the first minute, so I don't know where it goes from here.
I would blush from the shame, but I overdid it on the self-tan last night, so I'm too orange for it to be apparent.
How very 90s of you, Jenny.
I was dedicated to bringing it back to the glory days. So only back then I used to go to the sunbed every single day. And my boyfriend at the time was Indonesian, so he had like dark skin naturally. And I actually tanned until I got darker than him, and he had to tell me to stop.
There's like skin cancer, Jenny. Skin cancer. Okay.
That was actually that was my scared straight moment, was where I actually thought I had skin cancer. Fun fact. Not so fun at the time. Hilarious now.
The last time I did sun tanning is before going to Miami for a music conference, because the year prior I was tired of all the comments being like, oh, the Canadians are here. Look how pasty they are. So I went before going.
But I mean, it's not like there's natural sun that you can tan in Canada. Like, maybe for like a month or 2.
That's fair. So today we brought the fabulous Rob on so that we could all relive our glory days.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, woo.
I'm still in my glory days. I don't know what's happening with y'all, but
True. Rob, I wonder, what if you could think back to your glory days, what would the glory days look like? What were you doing in those glory days?
Oh my God.
Actually, here, pull up. Go to the screen view. There we go. There's Rob. Rob, was this your glory day?
So
tell us about this moment.
What was going on here?
I'm 19.
This necklace is
What's with that
fire.
necklace? Yeah.
I mean, the
what's with
puka
I'm
shells,
19.
everything.
I'm working part-time in a secondhand clothing store that sells hemp, and the local news station is doing a feature on hemp, and I was DJing on the side.
It reads hemp dealer to me.
Yeah, I look like a hemp dealer. I was collecting music and sharing music, and I was part-time selling secondhand clothing, so I got music for free, I got clothing for free, and I was trying not to die at raves.
Try not to die at raves.
That's a great life goal to have. As a life coach, I would like to tell you that.
Well, maybe at the exact time of this paper, I have a cover from this exact same newspaper. This is from the Barrie Examiner. I have another copy of the Barrie Examiner from 6 months prior, where 32 of us were in the back of a U-Haul van that went off the road on the way back from a rave. The person at the wheel had a seizure. And there were so many injuries that they had to send an ambulance bus. There's an ambulance bus for to deal with it. So I'm not joking. We're like trying not to die was actually what was going on in my life then. It's just being young and stupid and thinking you can do anything.
I mean, we jumped right into the near-death experiences here.
We really
There was
did.
no missing a beat. I did not know that they actually had like ambulance buses. I just assumed that like ambulances would have to swarm in said tragedy.
Yeah.
So that's depressing. Thanks for the uplifting content, Rob. We appreciate it.
Happy Friday.
I'm just, when you're like, what's going on? I'm looking. So that person on the screen doesn't know anything, is partying too much, is spending money faster than he can make it, is not sleeping, is having a blast, but is living on the edge of just not knowing how close it is to like, don't know what happens tomorrow. And yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, there's no way that we could actually survive our youth if we
Me too, Sultan.
any. I mean, did anyone here know that information before Rob mentioned it?
I did not know
Michael,
that
that's a very
information,
specific
so
question.
I feel like you've
That's your value for the day.
I was gonna say you're maxed out on value, Rob.
I'm maxed out on value. I got to
I
tone
was
it
trying to
down.
see if there was like a date that you could identify here on the right side where the words are, but I don't see any 1994.
Oh look,
So yeah,
Kevin's all up in the screen. That's shocking.
I know. And he has you covered. So like, Chelsea, you're not even here.
I know. I'm just hanging out down here as Michael.
Yeah. Oh, Aerosmith. So good. All right. I didn't just put Rob up here though.
I know.
Some of us, some other of us have glory days too. Only one other person actually sent a photo. So that's me. It's me in my peak. It was all down from here.
Your peak.
Notice the complete lack of eyebrows because I used to rip them all out of my skull. It's why they're patchy.
Oh my gosh. Why would you do that?
I mean, it was cool in the 90s to not possess eyebrows. I didn't actually grow them until like 2011. So in fairness to myself, my hairdresser, to bleach my hair to the extent that she did, she's like, your eyebrows are too dark. You need to pull them out. So we went there and I guess I was a little overzealous trying to even them out. So I only had partial eyebrows there. This was me on a night before I was going out to the club with the girls. This is a night that I tried to punch a guy for grabbing me.
I'm not gonna lie.
So martini one hand.
That you punch guys, definitely.
Oh no, of course, of course.
Screams
I grew up a tomboy. Like my friends taught me how to throw a punch. That was one thing. They're like, you're gonna need this information in your life.
Yeah, I see those deltoids. I'm good. I'm messing with you.
Yeah. So yeah, this was actually this semester in university. I was very studious, except for this one semester where I was actually extraordinarily depressed in this picture, which is horrible. But I went out to the club like every night and I just like lived the bar star life and drank a lot and had fun and then had regrets and didn't study and crashed my GPA. So I spent an extra year in university just to kind of haul the GPA up. So glory, not so glorious.
Consequence.
Yeah, I sent you.
I'll save my near-death experience for later, but it's not a near-death, it's a near amputation.
Oh dear.
Kevin.
There you go. See, I did. Yes.
You're really into like shaving it apart.
What's the line thing? What's the
Oh, that's my sexy. Thanks for noticing. Thanks for noticing. Yeah. No, I'm big into parts. I do lots of parts. I'll do them on the side. I'll do them on the top, in the middle. Like, you know, I am a man. I am an old hip hop head.
I heard it's cool to have a middle part now. Can you put a middle part in your hair?
Yeah, I don't know where you get your information from, Jen.
TikTok.
But,
TikTok.
I think you're lying.
All the
And I
kids
think
are
you're trying to
doing
get
it.
me in trouble here.
I
Okay.
know, because I got really nervous about my side part. Okay.
Let's see. Kevin at this time, let's see. He was studying to be a how do you call it? A gamer, but like in the gift of gab kind of way, and not so much in the playing games. And so I was practicing a lot of like lines on women at this time, thinking that I was like you know. So this was a picture that I sent to my wife, my future wife. True story. This is the first picture that she ever got. She was like, "Hey, send me a pic," and I was like, "Ooh, sexy pic, sexy pic, sexy pic, sexy pic." Got it.
So it did its job.
And it did its job, baby, because she's stuck with you now.
And it's aged so well, Kevin.
Thank you.
I mean,
Has much changed? Come on.
I mean, luckily the facial hair has changed.
We got some of this.
Yeah,
that's true.
We can compare the evolution of Jenny's eyebrows to eyebrows now, from your beard to your beard.
Yeah. So,
that's true.
Oh yeah, filled in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We let it grow.
I guess like the early aughts were not about having hair on your face properly. So that's cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
I love this picture.
It's fun.
I didn't go far enough back. This was as far as my Google Photos went back. This was like the extent of that. But I had bangs. But this was still probably like 2009, so I failed the game. I didn't go far enough back. You don't want to see early 2000s Chelsea anyway.
Well, we kind of
I would have been like a freshman in high school.
So like
not cute. Not cute.
And anyone who thought cute, not appropriate.
Yeah, no. So we don't want to go too far back. They just want to keep everybody safe. Yeah, but
all right.
I mean, I'm a princess, so that's something.
I mean, I feel like being a princess is a glory day, personally.
Yeah, that's my.
I think you should just wear the
plan.
crown now. Like, just do it.
Right? My daughter probably still has those little clip-in crowns. I totally rock that.
Yours now. I have one more. Who it is?
What? It's a stubby beer bottle.
Can you guys guess who that is?
So is that a toga?
Looks
Is that
like
a sheet?
That looks like Mr. Chesterfield.
Is that a bath sheet? Is that a shower curtain?
Is that a Labatt?
Where did this
beer
come
bottle?
from?
Hey,
It looks like a kombucha bottle.
You gotta guess.
It's like a kombucha bottle in a shower curtain.
I will
that's
give
what
you a
beer
hint.
bottles used to look like. Beer bottles used to be stubby like that. That's an old beer bottle.
I'm not gonna lie. You say toga, I think tablecloth.
Or curtain.
Is that flower
That
print?
also
What
could
is
be a
that?
curtain.
That's not me. That is not me. I couldn't grow that kind of facial hair then.
Any other guesses? Between the chats and the snarks, Kevin, I think, just gave it away.
I did. Oh, that was a total
You
guess.
mentioned it. Oh, was it? I thought I pinged it to you.
You did, Jenny.
Of course you did.
Lying to you.
That is a fellow Canadian. It is Mr. Thomas. I want to hear about the context of this photo. So if you could just sneak that into the chat, Thomas.
Yeah.
It's curtain. Was it a tablecloth? What kind? Is that a Molson Canadian or something else?
It's a Labatt Blue. It looks like an old
It's a
blue
Labatt?
bottle.
Oh my gosh.
That's a Labatt's, I think.
It's Canadian beer, but
Yeah.
like,
That sounds Canadian. Yep, we'll go with that. Let's go with that. It's Thomas, yo.
I'm impressed with your ability to pick out beer bottles in that manner.
I come from a long line of alcoholics, so
Me too. Me too.
Man, you are all about like bringing the darkness through like ambulance buses, generational alcoholism. It's fine.
Just making sure we're ending this week on a high note.
Yeah, like
Friday.
this is fun, you guys. Thanks for bringing me in.
Thanks for folding it in here. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe some more uplifting, depressing content. So I have a question for you guys. Like, if you were to pick a number and age of where, like, I mean, we just saw photos, but maybe it wasn't it. What age do you feel was like, that was me at my best?
This is gonna sound like a dick thing, but right now,
Yeah.
I really feel
That's
like
what
I'm
I was
hitting
gonna
this right now.
say.
Yeah.
Today is my day.
All right, I'll you know, because I like to be devil's advocate, I'll go with what was a
Get
good
closer to
year?
the camera, Kevin.
Yeah, we need to know you're
I'm like-
serious.
I'm like a
Closer.
fine wine,
There
so I
you
have to
go.
think of a good year. Let me think of the good year we had. Let's see, guys, in my head. What year was a good year for us? Okay, I got it. It was the year. Okay, actually, damn, it's now. I can't. I'd be lying.
What about you, Jenny?
I'd be lying.
Okay, so I mean, like, I'm not going to discount that fact that my life is pretty good, and I don't actually want to go into a time machine. But I'm with Brittany Love. Like, 28 was a good year. It was the year I got married. I moved to New York City. We went on like these amazing trips. Like, we went to Thailand and Japan and Australia and Vegas, and we didn't have kids. So we were just like exploring New York City and spending money. And I also didn't have a job for most of the time. So that was pretty fun.
That's exciting.
But when I did get a job, it was like the best job I ever had, minus current job. That was like, and I feel like in terms of like just all life vectors, like everything was the most on point in terms of like health, lifestyle, travel, career. Everything really lined up. Like, I mean, things are good now, but like,
Yeah.
if I had my life and I was 28 and in that body with the amount of time ahead of me and like still had like all my family and stuff, like that would be pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
True that. You know what? I'm going to change actually, because you know what? I think there's a sweet spot between like 11 and 13 where you're in school and it's not that tough yet. You know, like the requirements aren't that bad, right? and you still have people taking care of you, and you're still like kind of a kid, but you're a teenager. And so but you still get treated like a kid with little responsibility. You know what? Like in terms of just like leaving the adulting to the aside, and then like just having people cater to you. Like that's also the age where you're not old enough where your aunties and uncles will still buy you things and still want to hook you up. Yeah, 11. Let's go with 11. 11.
I'm not changing mine. I have nothing that I would want to go back and do. I'm sticking with now.
Like, I'm fine.
I think I want to
I'm
give a
good.
second answer. I think I'm like Chelsea that I
What?
wouldn't change my initial answer. I think it sticks, but I think if there was a secondary answer, when I was 19, 20, I moved out of my parents' place the first time. I had 3 roommates. We all shared rent. 2 of them were other DJs. Another one was a bartender. I started doing well with music, and there was just so much newness going on in my life. And I felt that I couldn't do anything wrong, that it was just all possibilities ahead of me. And I had some teenage heartbreak or whatever, but I hadn't been really punched in the face yet by life. So there was a sweet spot when I was 19 or so, which was pretty great.
Well, and
It's the
when you're
punch
19
that
in
makes
Canada,
you
you're allowed
who
to
you
drink
are.
too. Just for clarity, that's like the legal. You can go out to bars and be there legally. So, or 18 if you're in Quebec.
Does anybody, now that you just said it, Rob, does anybody have a heartbreak story from when you were a kid that you can still remember because it was that impactful?
Oh, I do, but I've been talking. I'm willing to let someone else go first.
No, you are
You're
the
the
smart
guest. We are
Please
notorious
do.
for not
You
allowing
what
the
you have
guest
to
to
say.
talk.
I mean,
I
Kevin
feel
will
like
just
it's
let you
time.
talk. Take the
And I hear
opportunity.
Jennifer
It's
talk
not going
way
to come
too much.
back.
Tired of it.
Because he's
All
not
right,
going to stop talking long enough until you start talking. So, like, just jump in.
I'm
I
tired of it.
want to give enough detail to tell the story without giving enough detail to possibly give the person away. So,
There.
fell madly in love with this person, got to know each other as friends first. Friendship turned into a relationship. Part of us getting to know each other, was talking about previous sexual experiences. She shared some of hers. I shared some of mine. We started dating. I really wanted to hang out with her one night. Friends were having a huge party. It was a couple towns over. I hitchhiked to this town to go hang out there and be at the party. And I stayed as late as I could, but I had to open. I worked in fast food. I had to open a McDonald's the next morning at 6 a.m. So I hitchhiked home at like midnight and whatever, left, kissed, left, came home. We continued to date. I found out a couple months later that they had given away their virginity to someone else that night after I left that party.
Hey, real quick. This is just asking. Was her name Crystal? Because she sounds familiar. No. Canadian thing? Didn't.
No, not Crystal.
I mean, I was in Japan, but she sounds eerily familiar. I was going to tell a breakup story that sounded quite similar. Quite similar. Yeah, mine essentially was honestly in the beginning of yours. I was 15. I lived in Japan. And so in Japan, it's military bases. You know, that's where that's like the pockets of Americans. There's like 11 military bases. You got to take a train to each one. And my girlfriend or my love interest not my girlfriend at the time. Well, we were girlfriend.
We'll call her that.
We'll call her that. She goes to another base. And I was like, oh, what are you doing over there? And she's like, oh, I'm shopping. I was like, oh, cool. I want to shop too. Let me go surprise her.
Oh, always a bad plan.
Bad plan. Bad plan. I go into the Navy Exchange and I'm so excited to go see her. And of course, there's a big burly arm around her neck. And I'm like, damn, it's big enough that I'm like, I shouldn't tap her and act like I know her. I should walk away. And then I walked away and I didn't say anything. And I went back to the base and acted like nothing happened.
Aww.
Oh, Kevin.
This is a sad story. This
But I learned a lot.
so much of who you are.
We ended up breaking up like 2 weeks later because I found out that she actually was having, sex with that guy. And he was older. It was gross. So, but life lesson learned. Okay, so I kind of.
What was the life lesson, Kevin?
The life lesson was
don't tap people with burly arms around them?
No, was speak up for yourself when you have the opportunity. Don't be scared. Don't shy away. If you have something to say, speak up at the time because later will not be the time.
Or don't follow your girlfriend around.
Or you probably shouldn't be stalking your girlfriend or trying to surprise her.
There's also that.
Because
stalking is bad.
They do shitty things. Okay? 16-year-olds are assholes. Keep it real. I should have known that there was some a-hole thing going on. So
yeah, I learned the stalking lesson kind of. I had a very strange relationship with someone starting when I was 16, and it was kind of on and off until I was like 18 or 19. But we would hack into each other's pagers and listen to voicemail, but it wasn't just me and him doing it to each other. It was like his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend, and we would all listen to each other's and oh my gosh, did you hear what was on? And it was high drama. And he ended up the first week that we were in different schools for senior year. We don't call it senior year in Canada. It's just 12th grade. But he decided he wanted to be single for his grad year. So he broke up with me. And I was really sad. So I went to a party with all of his friends from his school and I got super drunk and made out with one of his best friends. Got back at him.
Always the good plan. Always a good plan.
Highly intelligent. Worked out really well for me. Did not devolve into a drunken Jenny crying in her friend's house all night. Did not do that.
No.
Don't recall.
I can definitely see how that's not where it's going to go. Did you not have eyebrows at this point?
No eyebrows. They were gone. They were
no eyebrows, obviously.
The eyebrows went away the year before. That was part of my teenage glow up, was getting rid of my eyebrows. Yeah, it was anti for sure.
Yeah,
you
that makes perfect sense.
The way we treat value on this show. You are
exactly not needed.
Yeah,
that is not the point.
And I just want to address this really fast. Okay, Brittany, I lived there for 8 years. I played on a Japanese professional team and we lived off base. What I was simply intimating was that the Americans were on 11 different bases. Well aware, took the train everywhere, used to speak, just saying, very cultured. Brittany just wanted to address that. Okay. Way too much value what I just did, but I wanted to because we're here. So hey, real quick, guys, real quick.
I thought I had longer. I thought I could sneak in a quick sip.
No,
We were supposed to have someone else here for this. Are they here?
Was I told? Was I supposed to?
Yeah.
So we're gonna come back. We'll probably come back to this segment.
We're gonna replay that.
Apparently.
This is going so well.
Yeah.
We need a producer. Where's Travis?
Where's Travis? He's actually on vacation and couldn't make it. I actually pinged him. True story.
Yeah, because Travis has a cool story about being a MySpace star, and I'm kind of dying to hear it.
What?
Yes,
Oh
he
my
was like an
gosh.
like an electronica MySpace celebrity.
Of
in his
course he
teenage
was.
years.
Of course he was.
Right? So he like just left this comment like it's totally normal to be a MySpace celebrity like Jeffree Star.
Totally normal.
Jeffrey.
And
like Tom.
like Tom.
Tom from
Come on,
MySpace.
Tom was everybody's
Our old
celebrity.
friend Tom.
He was everybody's bestie.
Joe.
Oh,
There we go. Now I
Hey.
did it half right.
I was
What?
like literally ready to walk away to get a drink of water. I'm like, oh crap, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like it's my turn. What's going on here?
Surprise!
I thought
No,
this
you
was
want
like,
to
when you put Kevin in charge.
I thought this was like punishment for making fun of you, Kevin. Like you're like, nope, she can't get a drink of water.
Easily.
I think
You
that
know,
this is
I
all-
actually lived right outside the same military base.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where at?
I lived like uphill of the Hunch where that, I don't know if you know where.
Yeah. Oh, wait,
The
what?
hill?
What? Hold on.
He's like, this is
So-
not okay.
No, now I got too excited. So you live near Nagishi?
Yeah. Wait. It's been a while.
No, I know.
Right, yeah.
There's Yokosuka, there was Ikego, there was Nagishi.
No, you didn't live near
Is
Yokosuka?
your name Crystal?
Yeah. Yes, I lived in Yokosuka.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, we're just going back, guys. I've never actually like in real life met somebody that happened to be from the same. So I'm mind blown. But
Well, I'm not from there.
Or
And we haven't actually met in real life. But yeah,
Live there.
cool. Sure, I'll take it.
I feel we could create a whole separate sidebar here because I also grew up on army bases. My dad was in the army, and I lived overseas at one point too. So we could just take a completely different direction, and Chelsea would be like,
Yeah, no, 100%. I got it. No worries. Let's just be us. No need. Let's just. I mean, I'm in control here, as you guys can see. Everything's going wrong. So let's just let's.
Oh, I was just catching up on MySpace.
Oh.
Yeah, I was ready to let you guys jump on it. I had some other things I was just gonna do.
Were you changing your top 8 immediately? Was that what you guys were doing?
Yeah.
Kevin, you're clearly out.
That was clearly.
Okay. Now let me try this again.
Okay.
Okay. Oh wow, that's the first time I've ever seen that. That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, and also just so everyone, this is Brittany Love, for those of you who don't recognize her from the comments and her little profile icon bubble.
Yeah, I've got probably like 20 more inches of hair because I haven't had a haircut in forever. So
It's COVID hair.
okay, let me take the glasses
Yeah.
off. Maybe that's easier too.
Okay. Advice to our younger selves.
Please.
Okay, so mine is actually
Where does that
related to Japan. He is not the one. That wasn't the one I was thinking of when I gave
Oh.
myself that younger advice, but oh, that is so.
Now
Yeah.
you have to tell the story. You know how this goes.
Yeah.
Just phone.
No, I don't really have to tell that story. No. Just he is not the one is almost every single dating story I've ever had. So, except for my husband, because he's obviously the one. So
This hopefully is true for most of us.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Is neither. Maybe she's not the one. I don't know. Like, So I've been thinking a lot about the advice I would give my younger self. So we already touched on the tanning bed and like maybe stay out of it a little bit because you look like a dark carrot. The other thing that honestly, if I were to go back and tell myself something in all seriousness, I'll like get close. Like here, let's see.
Yeah, do Kevin.
Young Jenny. Side note, stop plucking your eyebrows so much. They don't grow back. You don't want to do this. This freaks you the F out. And you cringe at the mere thought of it. But 38-year-old Jenny encourages you to do just one thing. Take more bikini photos. Your young bod is something that you will miss. You will regret not having proof that it existed. And those photos that you used to be like, oh, you will treasure for the rest of your life.
Treasure.
So please, young Jenny, take more bikini photos.
I love that because I literally, like, especially since my wife is currently 27 weeks pregnant, all I hear is
bikini photos of her.
As soon as this is done, she's like, I'm about to get in shape and I'm taking as many damn naked photos as I possibly can. Because who knows? So I was like, yeah, I feel you. So good advice.
Oh my God, Thomas says you saw my toga bod. Exactly, Thomas. Exactly. Like we have to treasure these things while we have them.
Yeah, gotta buy some bikinis for myself too. Make sure I accentuate my figure. 100%. Rob?
We have so much knowledge of your figure already, Kevin.
Yeah, but that's my adult. Okay, you're right. Anyway, Rob?
2 pieces of advice. One, I would tell the younger version of me to put out more music. And I was putting out a bit of music, and I could have put out way more, and it would have made such a difference. That's like the serious answer. And then the other one is young Rob. If you find yourself at the emergency room of a hospital at 3 a.m. because you've ingested LSD, tell the medical staff that you are on acid.
What? So be honest.
In fairness,
Open
good
and
advice.
transparent. Gotcha. Open, honest, and transparent. Got it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Instead of them having to try and guess and diagnose you with a bunch of things because they have no idea what's going on, and just to make everything way more difficult and way worse of a trip, like just tell them.
Oh my gosh. But on the upside, you're from Canada. So you didn't get a really big bill for your bad acid trip at the end of it. It was free.
That is a fantastic point made, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes.
I was just thinking, just like you're just upping your bill by not telling them that. You need to just tell them so they'll get you out. Sounds very expensive.
Solid advice, though. Solid advice. Yeah. Chelsea, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I mean, like I thought about this and I find it very challenging because okay. All right. I have one. Okay. All right. Younger self, when you are in Honduras and the taxi driver asks you something in Spanish and you think that he's asking you, do you want me to take you back to your house?
He's actually saying, do you want me to take you back to my house? And do not say yes. Say no. No. Because no means no in English and Spanish. Just say no. That's my
Mi
advice
casa
to my
no
younger
es su
self.
casa. Mi casa no es su casa.
Maybe you should just tell your younger self not to go to Honduras to begin with.
I mean, it's fine. I didn't die.
I mean, she lived there. She's survived.
Okay, you lived there.
Yeah, I did. It's fine. It's fine.
I bet you were too, and I bet you were too excited when he asked. You were like, "Yes, please. Yes, please."
Yes, I do. Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I'm really tired, and I would love to do that because that sounds like the best way to end my night. I've had a long day.
I've had a long day, so if you could get there quickly,
Yeah,
I'll pay you
just
more. I'll pay you more.
Yeah, I will tip you. I will tip you for this service.
Oh my God.
¿Cuántos cuestas?
So much, Jenny. So much.
It's good stuff.
Oh.
I know Kevin has a monologue coming up.
I feel it.
All right, I guess I'm
We
gonna
all
do
have
monologue.
good 10 minutes.
I'll
So take
try
a
to
drink, be loud.
No,
and-
I'll try to be 1 minute or less
I'll
like
drink.
you guys.
Water.
1 minute or less. All right. What I would tell myself. Hey, 22-year-old Kev, who is, new to the club scene. And hey, number one, you're actually not that cool. I know, it's crazy to say. I know. Number two, you're not as good looking as you think either. So chill out, bro. Number three, you can't hit on everybody, okay? You can't. Why are you hitting on everybody? You need to have, number one, standards. Remember, have you seen your wife? Yeah, you did fine. What the hell were you doing then? Okay, and then last. And then seriously, like, dude, brother, man, like, yo, if you go to the club, homie, and you order a drink, and you remember, you didn't even drink. So you ordering a drink was you trying to act, remember? Yeah, well, let's not do that. Don't leave your drink on the bar and go dance.
Oh, dear.
Because
No.
what
Oh,
could
dear.
possibly happen
Oh no.
is somebody could come by and put
Oh.
something in that drink.
Oh,
then
dear.
what happens is you're with your whole group of friends. There's like 18 of you. There's girlfriends and wives. And whatever slipped in this drink would make you want to talk
dear.
and try to hit on every one of your friends'
Oh.
wives and girlfriends. Why? Because that's unlike you, Kevin. So why would you be doing that? Just don't, bro.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. And chill out. Like, really chill.
Just dial it back, young Kev.
Jeez. Swear to God.
Marry a hot chick.
You know what? I'm so glad you guys let me do that. I've been wanting to talk to myself about that for a long time, let me tell y'all. So thank you for letting me have that second to do that.
Oh, dear.
I can't believe it. No, I
I
was
mean,
not.
I probably have one more
No,
if you guys
I'm
want to
not.
hear it.
Totally.
I don't think I've ever told this story on LinkedIn, but you guys want to hear my story about how I learned in my youth
Little
and
bit.
what I would go back
You're
and
back.
say, young Jenny, wear shoes. There's a story that results in me
Okay.
almost losing my leg.
Okay. I think she needs to be full screen for this. Kevin.
Tetanus?
Like,
Tetanus? I'm just guessing.
So, as a young Canadian girl, I did what so many of us did. For May long weekend, I went camping out in the forest with my friends. We drove on a logging road for a really, really long time in a Toyota Tercel and somehow made it to some destination far, far away. The police checkpoint did take most of our alcohol, but it was okay. We got some of it through, and our friends who followed got even more through. You're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to go with the only other girl in your camp, and you two are going to get wasted. You're on the beach. It's lovely. You have no shoes. You're in your swimsuit. You're getting a tan from the real sun. You decide, wouldn't it be delightful to go and skip rocks? But what drunk you doesn't know is that your friends brought BB guns, because we don't have real guns in Canada, just BB guns. And they've been shooting out beer bottles as though they're 10. And you're going to step on the bottom of a shot out beer bottle with your bare foot.
Oh,
Ow!
Ow.
what the frick are you doing?
It's going to go through your foot, and it's almost going to cut off one of your toes right away. But it
Why would
doesn't.
you do that?
You are very lucky by about 1 millimeter.
Why would you do that?
Your only sober friend in camp is going to drive you 2 hours to the nearest hospital in Chilliwack, BC, probably. I don't even know. I was pretty shit-faced. You are going to be drunk. You are going to be scared, and you don't have your Medicare card, and the nurse is angry about it. The doctor is going to sew up your toe, and you are going to fight, and your friend will hold your leg down. The doctor will tell you you're a wuss, and you need more stitches, but he won't give you any more. He mentions he lives close to camp, and you invite him to come drink with you tonight. It's a great idea.
Oh my gosh. You invited
It's
the
not done
doctor to
yet.
drink
It's
with
not
you?
It's not done, Kevin. It's not done. Oh dear.
In the rush to get your profusely bleeding foot to the hospital, your friends just threw things into the car. Some clothes, maybe a purse, who knows? They don't include shoes. And recently you had a friend who was in the hospital and didn't have shoes, and you thought the paper shoes were hilarious. So you now make your friend carry you into Tim Hortons to get a coffee, because that's what you need after stitches is a coffee. He buys you a little thing of whiskey, which the cops let you pass through on because they know you've just been through some things. You go back to camp. You spend the night unable to walk, which makes it very awkward when you have to stumble to the bushes to pee because someone has to help you. You go home. The doctor says, you're fine, no medication needed. Just put this lotion on it. Your foot turns black.
Lotion.
Oh my God.
And 3 days later, you go to urgent care. Well, our version of urgent care in Canada. Not the actual hospital. You don't go there unless you're really sick. And the doctor informs you that there is a pretty good chance that you will lose your toe, your foot, or your entire leg because the infection has spread. Because what you didn't mention was that your friends took that fresh water from the lake full of bacteria and dumped it on your foot.
Oh my
Oh
God.
dear.
I'm just gonna leave you on the damn screen for like a minute and just
You
let that
get-
stick with people.
You get the choice to take the medication by pill or IV, so you can go to the hospital. You choose the pill. It's easier. You have to keep your foot over your head for 2 weeks. Summer school, because you're a little ambitious now, it's not happening. It's not good. You're on crutches. You're pretty sure something is going to lose. You are very concerned, absurdly concerned about how sad this will look with only 3 toes. But luckily, the medication works. The Canadian healthcare system has saved your limbs and all its appendages, and all you have to show is about 0.5 millimeter or 0.5 centimeter of missing skin on your foot.
Damn.
Cheers.
Yeah, one sec, guys. I'm gonna let that breathe for 2 seconds, and just you can look at Jenny and touch her and all your might.
Can you
and-
imagine that young eyebrowless girl going through this ordeal?
I'm just wondering, like, if you'd stepped on a bottle, just assume there's bacteria there and give you an antibiotic. Like that should be standard.
The first doctor is like, no, like you're fine. It's no big deal. Just like go to the clinic if like something happens. So when I came back home, like my one of my friends drove me home the next day, and my mom was like, you are going to the doctor's clinic. And they were like, we've seen too many patients. She threw a fit, and they saw me and they're like, yeah, just throw in this lotion. You're fine.
Lotion.
And it was not
Put
a
some
good
Prussian on
idea. It was not a good idea.
What you couldn't see is the whole time you were telling the story, B-Love was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god.
It is the most dramatic story that I have.
Well, I was also thinking like nobody will ever let us have socialized medicine now. America just lost its opportunity to have actual good, solid healthcare for
And
all
of
of us.
course,
So,
a
but
Canadian
fun
would do it.
story. Fun story. In fairness, though, so I went into the emergency room with no healthcare card. I was just like, I don't know where it is. Someone stole it 10 years ago and it never got replaced. And we got a bill, and my mom was so angry. And I was like 18 here, so she was still dealing with my life for me because she was a good mom. And our bill for it was $93. And she was like, how dare you? How dare you? And we paid nothing for anything. It was great.
$93 is like less than what I pay for what's supposed to be my free yearly visit, you know?
Right?
It was Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Like not
That thing where you
American
like walk in and they
dollars.
just ask you questions. They don't even touch you. They're just like, hey, how you feeling? All right, $250. Thanks.
Yeah, that's true story.
Yeah.
Oh, super true.
That's crazy.
I actually used to be in medical billing, so unfortunately, it's super true. And
Oh yeah.
disgusting.
By the way, if anyone was wondering if the doctor came to drink, he never showed up.
That's
He might
unfortunate.
have- He might have actually like advised you differently if he had like.
But it was super. So, like, Rob, I don't know about like. So in Toronto, like in Ontario, do you do this? So like in BC, like Lower Mainland and kind of area, May long weekend, like literally everyone goes camping and it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this huge thing.
Mhm.
And so there was like 300 illegal campers on this one little beach. And they all ended up coming down to our end to like party that night. They're like, yeah, you're the girl who like cut her foot open. I'm like, yeah, I can't walk. But the good thing is my friend who shot out the beer bottle felt really, really bad. And so for years after, if I saw him at the club or something, I was like, you owe me a drink. And he would always buy me one. It was fantastic.
For the rest of his life, he owes you a drink.
If I ran
Yeah.
into him today, I would be like,
Give me a drink. Yeah, it's a huge thing here too, and because it always falls in that later part of May, that's close to the
Yeah.
24th. People call it May 2-4 weekend, and also because beer often comes in a 2-4 case, so May
Yeah.
long weekend, May 2-4 weekend, and it's teenagers getting wasted in the woods.
Interesting.
yep, it's a thing.
I had to get a severely infected tooth pulled while I was in Honduras. It was a really traumatic experience, but I think it cost like $70 or something. But I was certain that I was going to die because they kept saying mucho dolor, and I was like, please stop saying that. And then they pull a giant needle out of a paper bag.
Paper bag.
And I'm laying in this
Why is
chair
it in a
looking
paper
up.
bag?
I don't know. I had so many questions, and they're just talking about all this pain. And I had like a baseball size infection on the bottom of my face. And that was laying in this chair, and painted above me, they had like a heaven scene. There was like angels and clouds. And I'm like, that's where I'm going.
Coming for
Like
you.
that is what's happening right now.
I see the
That's why they painted it there. So you can be like, this is what's happening as we pull this giant needle out of this brown paper bag. What? And then they shoot this thing into my face and they pull the infected tooth out and they showed it to me. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't. So then I come back to the States, go to see my dentist. My dentist was like, did they treat the infection before they pulled that tooth out of your face? And I was like, should they have? And she was like, well, I mean, you probably should have died because the infection should have gone like to the rest of your body. And I was like, oh, but it was only $70. And like you people would have been so much more expensive.
It would have been like 7,000.
But did you
here.
die?
It's fine.
But
Yeah,
did you die? I
Benchmark.
remember like I'm messaging my mom from Honduras. I'm like 17. Hey mom, I just got back from the dentist. They had to pull a tooth out and they took like the needle out. I had an infection. Like, it's fine. I'll see you in a month. Okay, bye. Send money.
You know, there really is something to us kids like not knowing how to be adults, but then the world thinking that at 18, like we're supposed to know how these things work because
God.
I remember a semi-similar story. At 19, I'm in college playing like intramural basketball and try to do some Michael Jordan nonsense. and just completely turned my ankle. And I know immediately because I can remember. I was like, it's fucking broken. It's fucking broken. Please, somebody help me. Nobody came to help. Crazy. They just put me to the side and kept playing basketball. Jerks. True story. So then I'm like hopping to my car. Thank God 19-year-old Kevin had a car. And so the first thing, you know, I'm 19-year-old. I'm in Atlanta. My mom and dad live in Seattle. And I don't know anything about life. So, of course, the first call is to mom. Hey, mom, like, what do I do? And she's, you know, now she's like being mom. She's asking me all these questions that don't really matter to me getting to a hospital. She cares about my feelings. I could care about my feelings right now. And I was like, hey, how does this
Did she ask
work?
you if you had clean underwear on?
He
Do
did
you
ask
have
me. I
clean
swear
underwear?
to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. My mother is the queen of clean underwear. Okay, to this effect, because her mother was so keen on it and it was so real. I'm not joking you. If my mother had the thought and could remember to ask the question before every time I would leave the damn house, Kevin, you do have on clean underwear, right? Yes, mom, I do. That is just
Okay, but let's be real. How many times were you like, thanks for the reminder, mom?
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
seriously.
Yo, all jokes. You know how many times I was like literally walking out the door, put my hand on the handle and was like, you're right, I'll be right back. Who am I kidding? We know this shit ain't clean.
I'm imagining Kevin in a hookup scenario, and he's getting undressed, and he's taking off.
Hell no.
And he's like,
No,
"Oh, thanks
his
for mom.
phone
These
had
are
his
fresh."
back.
So I actually, like, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking of like what the dialogue between my younger self would be and like what my adult self would be. And I was thinking a little younger, like teenage years, probably because I have a teenager. And so I actually had the dialogue with myself about the advice. So let's just pretend that like this is teen Brittany, this is adult Brittany. So in something like this, parenting really sucks. I know, right? Like, I really thought you were going to be cool when you did this, but you kind of sound like mom. It's the worst. To be fair, you had your stuff together when you were her age, and she does not. So I'm not sure what you could do differently. Don't have kids. I know you don't mean that.
That's real.
Because I think I like and the other thing was like younger me was like, your life is way cooler than I thought it would be. But I don't think that I actually have a huge difference between younger me and like older me. And I think that's why, like, my advice to my younger me is just don't do this stupid stuff that I didn't realize at the time. But like, I didn't know. But I never almost lost any body part. So I think I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
I feel like Kevin's with me, Kevin. Like, I had to learn all the lessons the hard way.
The hard way, yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, you couldn't tell me, but you're wrong.
To be fair, like the vast majority of stupid stuff I've done, I was much, much older and should have known better. But I was like I learned how to drive a stick shift in that like the bush in South Africa with a broken leg. That was dumb. That was really dumb. I was in my mid-30s.
I mean, there's no time like when you're in the bush in the middle of South Africa with a broken leg to learn how to get yourself out of the fucking bush in South Africa with a broken leg, though.
I mean, I rented a car. It never occurred to me that they wouldn't have an automatic. So when I got there and realized it was a stick shift, I'm like, well, already rented it. Got to figure this out.
Can't be that hard. Like, played a video game or something. Like,
Yeah, necessity. I learned how to drive stick shift driving from the East Coast to the Pacific Ocean. And halfway there, it was
Into
terrible.
it?
But by the time we pulled into Vancouver, I had it down.
I mean, good thing that you figured it out, like going through the mountains, but it must have been so easy to go through the prairies because like you just click it into neutral and glide.
Well, we lost our muffler in Winnipeg, so we were really loud by the time we got to Vancouver.
So they could hear you coming. Oh my God. So I have to ask Rob, because Rob was a DJ. You DJ'd in Vancouver. Where did you DJ? Like, where was I, like the chick trying to hang out in the DJ booth that you were like DJing?
When I was DJing in Vancouver, it was mostly raves originally. And then when I played later, there was a couple nightclubs that names escape me right now that I can't even think, but it was normally like one-off events and someone's doing a special night here and there. Well, I can't even remember, but it's been a solid decade since I've DJed in Vancouver. And yeah, but in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was mostly at raves. So it was like some hall or whatever someone rented out, and or some outdoor space outside of Surrey or something. Or
oh God. I'm from North Delta, and that's why I'm cringing. And that boyfriend I talked about earlier lived in Surrey.
Yes.
I always wanted to go to raves. Like, I had some friends that were like big ravers, like especially the friends that lived in like New Westminster and stuff like that. And I was not allowed. And I was like the kid who was like, I was like out, and I would like, you know, do drugs and like drink and get really wasted. But I was like really good in specific ways. Like, if my parents were like, you cannot go to a rave, I would never go to a rave if they said no. And they always said no. So I never went to one.
That's good. That's crazy that you actually listened. Yeah.
Oh, no, and they could be like, be home at 10 o'clock. And I was like 22. And I'm like, okay, I'll be home at 10 o'clock. Like,
what happened when you moved out? When you moved out and stopped having those rules, then did you go wild? Did it turn into wild? I didn't move on
until I moved to Ireland. Like, I lived at home through university.
Wow.
Because like I went to Kwantlen, which was in Surrey, and then I went to Simon Fraser University, which was in Burnaby. It was a short drive. And I moved to Ireland when I was 23. And I didn't live, I did a short stint at home when I was 26, like going through a breakup because I had lived with my ex. But yeah, I lived at home forever. And my dad was like, be home at this time. I'm like, okay, I'll be home. And I would always listen.
Oh, you would do it? Oh, okay.
I would totally if I was a minute late for curfew, I'm a very punctual person. Like, I will break all sorts of rules. If you tell me to be somewhere at a certain time, I will be there.
Yeah.
So if I was a minute late, like I would be calling, I would be apologizing. Like, there was times that my ride bailed, or like a friend decided to drink or something, and I would be like, my ride is delayed. I have to get a taxi. I need you to come and get, like, even when I was 24 and I didn't even live with my parents, my dad was my DD one night that I didn't have cab fare. And I was out like at the Cowboy Festival in Cloverdale. It's like the rodeo. That's what it's called. And I was wasted. My dad came and get me. I was 24 years old. Like, I lived on my own. He like came, picked me up, brought me like back to my parents' house, and I stayed there for the night.
Oh, I'm pretty
like,
sure my dad did that like last year, but like, parents are the best DDs, right? Because you can always count on them to keep you safe.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, to your point, Jenny, because we don't do Jen. Yeah, I did like to learn everything the hard way because I just didn't believe what people would tell me. Like, I couldn't. If I didn't experience it, I didn't believe it. Like, seriously.
It's like, oh, that's the rule for you. That's cool, but that doesn't apply to me.
I had to experience it. So the first time I realized that I did it to like too much of an effect, I went to go watch the first Fast and the Furious with my sister and her best friend. I'm 13 years old and they are 16 and 17 years old. And so I live in Japan, military base. So we live in like the residential base, and then there's like the main base that you have to drive to. So they come pick us up and we drive there. So we watched the movie. It's the coolest freaking movie I've ever seen in my life. It's the first Fast and the Furious. They got all the cool cars. Y'all know they got the music, ludicrous, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am like so inspired. I am so hyped up about cars. Like, immediately as soon as we leave this place. And so we hop in the car and we drive to the teen center, which is like a 5-minute drive down the road. We get to the teen center and we start playing ping pong. We start playing pool and we're doing all these things. And then Kevin you know, that Kevin that likes to experience things himself is like, oh, I know. Hey, Monica, my sister's best friend, I left my basketball in your car and I just wanted to dribble it for a sec. Could I get the keys real quick? Yeah, here you go. Okay, cool. Thanks. So, so it's a stick shift. Have no freaking idea what I'm doing. Start it up. And I mean, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I put it into 1. And I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to go forward. Oh, there's an R, reverse. Got it. R, go back. Okay.
Let's hold up and say Japan has really strict driver's license laws too.
This is true.
Just pause
also,
right there.
This is on the military base, I will say. So I take the car.
Military bases don't have strict rules.
Please put up Michael's comment.
You'll see. So I take the car out, and right adjacent to the teen center is our gym. And so I drive behind the gym. I make 1 lap successfully. And so I park in and I stop the car. But what's better than 1? 2. So I go for another lap.
Oh, no.
So I back it out and I go for the other lap. On the second lap, guess who's behind the damn gym? Of course, it's an MP, military police. Okay. So like in the fashion that you know, the light comes on and immediately I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So he's got the light, he pulls up, and he's like, okay. He puts the light in the car, okay, to see what's going on. And he looks at me and the first thing verbatim, never forget it, he goes, wow, you look kind of young. And I was like, thank you. Like I'm an adult. And so he's like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 16. And he's like, okay, let me see your license. I was like, oh, I left it at home. And he was like, okay, well, let's go home. I was like, oh shit. On the other base. He's like, okay, so how'd you get here? And I was like, oh, my sister. Where's your sister at? Teen center. So we go back to the teen center. He's like, I'll let you go ahead and drive the car, drive it back to the teen center. I'm so nervous. I don't do a good job of it. The muffler's probably 10 feet behind us too, Rob. We probably done messed it all up. Okay, so we get to the teen center. They're not there. I get out the car and I run as quickly as I can in the teen center, get to my sister, Monica. I'm like, oh my God, guys, I did something really stupid. Police are about to come in here. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. Please, please, please just say yes. You know me. I didn't say it. Please disagree. I couldn't finish. Here they come. And so now my sister's just looking at me. She's like, what the F? Like, what? Right? What are you talking about? So they come in. They're like, hey, is this your brother? And she's like, yes. And they're like, okay, how old is he? Without skipping a freaking beat, 13. Bro, what happened
You
to
didn't know why?
What happened to solidarity?
Why? Like,
What
how
happened to solidarity? You're my sister. I'm disgusted.
Betrayed.
So, anyways, he acted as though he was gonna bring me to jail. Okay, they put me in cuffs right then and there. They did the whole like scare you thing, and then they called my damn father.
Oh, that's worse than jail.
You want to know what he made me do? So we live like 4 miles away from the base, and I had to walk. I think the verbatim words were, "You can walk your ass home," I think is what it was. And I was like, okay. And he was like, oh, and don't you dare take the train. Walk home. I was like, okay. And that's how
I feel like this is a situation
that's life.
like that played out across America for young people who watch Fast and Furious everywhere.
Oh,
That's
you
why
do?
those little disclaimers are on the other like 8 ones of saying like this is not real life. Do not do this at home.
The hilarious part is like, I don't know if y'all could hear it because I have like something that's supposed to knock out background sounds, but someone is like just doing that in front of my house. Like we've had major problems with speed racing here, like, and people thinking they're gangstas. So
I literally thought that Kevin had pulled up sound effects.
No, and I didn't move myself.
Yeah, that's what it
because I'm
sounded
oh,
like.
God, this
It was
timing is
perfect.
Perfect.
that worked out.
I
so
literally
quickly.
thought, Jenny, that you played sound effects to go with Kevin's story.
Oh,
Yes, that's what happened. We are so on top of it here that we have sound effects
I
for
mean-
stories and everything. Mhm.
If
I just
anyone
learned a
knows
lot of-
anything about us, it's that we have everything together. We're very well planned out show.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Well, as much as we pay our producer, we better.
back.
Travis.
Rob,
where you
I
at?
feel like it's your turn. We've all told these really fantastic stories, and you're just taking it all in. So now, ready, set, go. No pressure.
When was the time that you were arrested or almost arrested?
So
Or almost died or lost a limb.
Well,
so
he
let
already
me
said
tell
he
you
almost
about
died.
what happened after
that's
I
right.
left court and how we handled that, and then I'll go back to the arresting story. So
Let's do it.
in court, the judge said he should lock us up, and if it wasn't mid-December, that he would put us away, but he didn't want to put us away over the holidays, and we were 15. And I had to do several weeks of community service, pay $500 in fines. And the only like really strict rule that he made sure to really reinforce, he said, you and Ron, that was my co-conspirator in this crime, Ron, are not to speak to each other, not to be in conversation with each other, not to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Ron and I and our parents leave court, go for lunch together. Ron and I don't talk, but we talk through our parents. And it's like, hey, Mom, can you ask Ron to pass the salt? Sure. And so that's how we're passing the condiments over lunch after court. How I ended up in this predicament was a mutual friend and acquaintance. Their parents went away on vacation. They were supposed to be staying at someone else's place. They were, but they broke back into their place and we had a week-long party. We had wild, insane, it was like no holds bar things, broken things, stolen, people from out of town coming in to have sex with people, like just like messy, crazy, debaucherous stuff. And it somehow the neighbors figured out something was wrong, alerted the parents came, and then they locked the place down. And me and Ron and some other people broke back into the house after it was locked down and got caught and ended up in court. 15. Like my kids ask me, like, you ever been in trouble with the police? And I allude to it. But if they only knew. If they only knew.
Do you actually own up? Like, question for the panel. When your kids ask you about the antics that you got up into your youth.
No.
Thankfully, Mom's not old enough to do that.
I'm counting on her unoriginality to not get her into trouble because she couldn't get herself out of the trouble, which is where I feel I have really
Well, that's
failed.
your
as a
job.
parent. No. I never got in trouble because I was smart enough to
getting her
never
out of
get
trouble is your job. Like, moms figure it out.
That's what she thinks. And it's why my 16-year-old self is thinking, what the hell is this? This is not what I signed up for. Because I just got myself out of trouble. And then my parents never had to find out. That's how it's done, people. Come on.
This has been an ongoing conversation in our house. So my ex and I aren't together. We're like good friends that share children. It's awesome. We co-parent. They live a week with us and they live a week with her. She has got a new long-term partner. They have a new kid. I have an amazing partner that I live with who the children see as a mother. Like, it's so healthy and so supportive. But their mother and I met in a nightclub. She used to also be a DJ. We fully lived that life. So the joke used to be like, what do you tell the kids? You tell them like, don't do drugs, or like do the drugs and wait, make sure you have friends. Like, what version of the story do you give?
Always tell them you're on LSD.
Send them a link to this live stream and say, kids, we need to have a talk. Watch this show. If you have any questions, I'll be in my office.
I like that though, Rob. So how honest and open have you decided to be?
I have been completely open and honest with them because I know that they're going to get in precarious situations and I don't want them to have to make a dumb decision to try and save their hide or worry about repercussions. And I want them to know that they can legit call us if they're in that really bad place at 2 or 3 in the morning. So it's been about slowly divulging things that I feel they're ready for it. Because, you know, I don't want to lie. Our 12-year-old asked last week or 2 weeks ago if I'd ever done mushrooms. And I answered yes for the first time. And it blew his mind. And that led to so many questions. But I would rather that than him to, I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to pretend. So like slowly teasing out information.
Yes, agreed. That's what I don't
Did you
want.
tell them about your good trip or your bad trip on mushrooms?
I think But I think it depends on the kid too. Just saying.
I think you're right. I think the way you were explaining it earlier, Brittany, you don't feel your child is smart enough to get herself out of it, or that she's going to end up in a worse place. I think we have intentionally, from a very young age, treated them like little people, talked to them like adults, included them in the conversation. Something went wrong, and my first reaction was like, "Fuck!" But then I was like, "No, actually, okay. How do we solve this? What do you think we should do?" Like at a very young age. So because at some point, I'm not going to be there. Their mom's not going to be there. Their stepmom's not going to be there, and they're going to have to make decisions. So it's very much been intentionally trying to raise little humans versus kids that have to obey.
Yeah, my kid is like old enough that she should have figured some things out on her own now. And the first time, and she was 13, we took her to the mall, and she wanted to, walk around the mall by herself. And we're like, we're going to be in the mall. It's going to be with someone we trust. Like, it's another kid we trust, not just your stupid friends. And then before she goes, it's like, okay, so what do you do if a stranger asks you to go with them somewhere? And she's like, you don't go with them. And I'm like, okay, what if it's a woman with a small kid and she was asking for your help? What do you go with her? And she's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do you not know the answer? And her cousin, who's the same age, was like, stranger danger, Ashley. And so that is why, like, your kids are little humans. Mine, I'm just like, where did we go wrong? Like, I really hope you figure this out in the next 3 years.
I mean, you have 3 years. It's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Chelsea, what about you? You are the child education expert here. Like, if anyone knows the right answer, it's definitely you.
I mean, Rob's answer, I feel like, is probably the answer that I would give. I mean, you know your kid best, so you share the information that works. But I mean, from me personally, I don't have any fantastic stories to share. I mean, like, I graduated when I was 14 and then moved to Honduras and then came back and then got married and then had babies. Like, I never got drunk. I know. I never got drunk. I never did drugs. I never hung out in an ambulance bus. Like, I don't know. I can't help you. So I just feel like my kids are going to be like, Mom, what do we do when, or did you ever? Around to be like, I don't know. Let's Google it.
Be like, call Uncle
Jeez, don't
Kevin.
Google it.
Call Uncle Kevin. He has
Yes,
the
let me
answers.
refer you to Kevin, who can probably
Please.
help you with all of these answers.
Yes, I can. And
But,
I
like,
will.
quick question for Rob. How similar is a party bus to an ambulance bus? Inquiring minds need to know.
It's probably minus the pole.
I was just going to say that. Like, I think the pole is probably the only difference.
No, the difference is the pole is along the top, so that
There
people
you
that have
go.
minor injuries can hold the pole like this.
It's like it's horizontal instead of vertical. That's right.
Yeah. It's horizontal. Just imagine a normal bus with way less seats. The outside is painted like an ambulance. And in the back, there's a couple beds for more serious injuries. And then there's a bunch of little stations so that it's like when there's a major crash or something and they have a bunch of small injuries and they need to take care of a lot of patients at once. I'm going to find a picture and I'm going to send you all a picture of what this ambulance bus looks like.
Oh, you can share your screen. Just throwing that out there.
Let me see. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now.
All right. While Rob is finding the party
And this is
ambulance
such
bus,
a
Kevin.
great point right here, Michael. Sorry, I just wanted.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've previously searched for ambulance bus Toronto because it auto-populated.
Oh, dear.
You were going to say something, Jennifer, please.
No, I was asking.
Jenny. Oh.
So what are you gonna?
She's frozen, I think. There she is.
Yeah.
There she is.
Am I back? Okay.
You're
no,
back.
so like when Juju's big and new baby who's yet to be born, Lucas, right?
Yeah.
So when they're big and they're like, tell us about drugs.
Mhm.
Tell us about car thieving. Should I do that? Do you have any experience
Car
here? What will you
thieving.
say?
I mean, I kind of did steal the car, technically. I mean, I did it with permission, technically, but she also didn't know. Okay, it was like the
Technically, you used technically way too many times in that
Borrowing.
sentence.
with all due respect, no. So no, yeah, the same. And And I'll say this, and it's for everybody. We're all different. We all raise our kids different. They all have different experiences. They all have different backgrounds, right? So not all kids are the same. In my opinion, based off the way I was grown up and raised and what I've learned through my own self-inflicted wounds, fair enough, is it would have been better if I had the information so that I could have made a better decision than if I did not. Now, if you decide as my child to use that information to do bad, I believe that you would have done that anyway without the information. So all I did was educate you on what you should or should not do. At the end of the day, my kid is resourceful enough that if he wants to do it, he'll do it. You know why? Because his dad did. So
Put up Sultan's comment.
So
and scarily, he's a lot like me at 3.
no one
up
gave you
Sultan's
the
comment.
information that you shouldn't steal cars.
You are
I really thought that was like standard. Standard.
the most recent Sultan comment because
I have to agree. Well, that's true. But I have to agree with Kevin on that point because for me, I was raised in like a religious environment, right? And so it was always, we don't talk about the things that we've done, but there are all of these mysterious bad things out here somewhere, right? And I feel like if you're just having an open and honest conversation, then you're taking away this mystery of that. And for me, it was fear. But for my brother, he was like, let's go find the mystery.
Right.
Let's test it all out, right? I mean,
why was I curious about those things? Exactly.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm with Rob and Kevin. Surprisingly enough, I'm with Kevin on this one. Is that I think it's about having that conversation when you know your kid well enough. Well, Rob too, but that's not surprising. I'm more surprised about you. When you know your kid well enough, and then you have those conversations so that they can, make the decision for themselves, because you need them to make an internal focused decision instead of an external focused decision, and that's a whole different conversation. Too much value. I'm done.
Super duper valuable, but.
My parents were really honest with me. Like I'm totally going to be transparent. My husband doesn't necessarily agree, but
It's fine.
But here's the thing. So when I was 13, my parents decided they were just going to radical transparency. This is why you can't have a boyfriend. This is why. And I learned some things about my parents.
Oh God, don't talk about that.
And I'm not gonna share because I don't want to put my parents' stuff on the internet. That's not my business. But they told me stories that I'm like, okay, so that stuff that isn't cool because my parents did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was pretty good, but my dad was a rebellious. My dad dropped out of high school, and he was a wild teenager, and he told us everything, and I was like, I know too much information and I cannot unhear this now. And now I can't, it's not interesting, so I actually kind of think in a way that the transparency and the I did this drug and that drug and then I made this mistake, it actually makes it less interesting because it's not off bounds. And I think when you're a teenager, the things that are off bounds are the things that are actually fascinating.
That's what I was interested in. Rob, I saw you were doing your thing.
Sorry, I put it away over here. I'll bring it back up.
Right.
I found there's some really funny stuff when you look at what other stuff comes up with it. Hold on a second.
Ambulance Bus Toronto.
Are you seeing it? All right. So look, but there's something else that's funny that comes up when you look at this. Look at the other terms: mass casualty,
Jeez.
Oh gosh, that's a real bus.
It's a bus, but it's just inside. It was a bit different than this, but there's a bunch of place for different people. It was something like this that came.
It's so dark.
They're all technically called buses in the US, but they're like the normal sized ones. So I thought you just meant that, but a little bigger. But that's an actual bus.
Yo, I feel like that's just a bus that goes to stops, and if you need to go to the hospital, they got you. But if you also need to just go to your house, they got you.
But
Whichever.
in Canada,
you can lie down along the way.
It's free to go to the hospital, so you're.
Yeah.
Oh, I had the sniffles. I'll go to the emergency room.
I
Okay,
feel
don't
like
do it right now. Coronavirus is real. Okay.
Those should be the buses that take people to like football and basketball games and then take them back. I think those would be necessary. I think those
Like the designated driver buses. That's what they need. Designated driver bus. And you can
CD
just lay
bus.
down right here.
Oh, I think that would be worse. Like if you were nauseous, oh my gosh, and you had to lay down and then the motion. Oh gosh, I'm getting sick just thinking about that.
Mm-mm. You know what I imagined when you said that, Rob, was we were watching the third Harry Potter where they have like the night bus and all the beds sway and slide back and forth as they're driving. Like that's what's happening in my head is everybody's laying in one of those beds and they're like swaying through. There's throw up happening, like limbs are flying. Like that's what's happening in my head.
So in my head, before you showed me the picture, I just like imagined like a stretched ambulance, like the stretch Hummer limousine, but like an ambulance. That's what I.
No, it was legitimately the best. You were talking earlier about like stealing cars and breaking rules and stuff. I'm going to find the newspaper article, and it's the person from U-Haul in the front of the paper who's showing the damage of the van, and his caption is, "They told me they were just moving for the weekend," and they had because he had no idea because the person who rented it didn't tell him. Threw a bunch of mattresses in the back, and then it was driving a bunch of people to and from a rave, just like really poorly planned and dangerous and stupid. And
God. I mean, I remember in the 80s, my dad had this old Datsun, and like me and my cousins and my sister would like ride in the back of it, and that was fine, like on the highway driving really fast, and it was like, oh yeah, like we don't have enough seats inside, just like sit in the back.
Yeah, that's what I did in my dad's vet. Like, if my brother would sit in the passenger seat, and then I had to lay on the top underneath that little window portion. It was like, it's totally fine. It's fine.
It's good.
It's normal. It's okay.
It was. I mean, we're still here, so obviously it wasn't a mistake.
It's true.
Super true.
Obviously, that's what justifies a mistake or not mistake. Is that you lived through it.
So we have only a few minutes left.
I have a question. Are snark wrinkles a thing? Because I feel like I've gotten a few more wrinkles, like laugh wrinkles from all the laughing earlier and all the smiling.
Oh, definitely.
Those aren't wrinkles; they're smile lines.
Smile
Very
lines.
different.
They're smiling.
Means you lived a quality life. A quality life, Rob.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's like.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
No, this is just quality, baby.
So.
Yes.
Who's snarking next week?
I'm
The
supposed to
wizard.
know.
Isn't it the wizard?
Is it the wizard? We have a wizard? There's a wizard here?
There's a wizard on LinkedIn.
You have a picture.
Part-time
Oh, that's right.
wizard.
We do.
Spoiler. Oh.
Yes, it is the wizard.
Where's his hat?
Oh wow!
What is good, Mr. Wizard? Yeah, he's like more like Harry Potter. He's like Clark
Yeah,
Kent.
no.
Yeah,
just
I mean, he's
missing
missing
profile
his hat.
pictures. Yeah.
But
so
sad
sad.
or
We need
not,
the
his
one with his
headline
hat.
says part-time wizard, even if he's not wearing the hat.
Okay.
Well, that's
So
who we
note to
got.
self- Note to
That's
self,
cool.
I will put a wizard hat on Luke in future promotional
Good. That's important.
materials. And I'm super stoked because I talked to him about what to snark about, and we're going to snark about gurus.
I like it. It's kind of like
It
snarking about
does.
life coaches when you're a life coach.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I have something funny. You guys were snarking last week about influencers. I recently encountered someone who self-labels himself as a micro-influencer.
A micro influencer.
I mean, I feel like that's in the like stratosphere of impactful influencer.
Ooh, no, it's just impact influencer. Impact influencer.
Well,
I want to understand what this micro. What does that mean?
I
So
don't
it's
know.
an influencer with a small audience. If you want to be a marketer about it.
See, the
I've
thing
never
is,
seen one self-label though, so
self-label.
label.
Yeah, micro. My partner and I were talking about this, and like, why would you label yourself that? Because we're thinking, in what other instances is the word micro used? It's generally pretty negative. Micromanager, micro penis. We couldn't think of a good use of micro.
It's fair.
Microwave.
Microwave. Yes.
I don't know. Some people are against microwaves
on that one right there.
Nicely done.
You save some micros.
I'm gonna go add micro influencer to my tag or my headline now because I feel like does 5 people count or?
But what if you if you have more than 10,000, then what are you? Are you
You're
a
a macro
macro influencer?
You're a mid-level influencer.
A mid-fluencer?
Middle management.
Although this was the math that I heard, Jenny. Okay. So when you have 30, 40,000 followers on LinkedIn, that's equal to having like 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So in order to
I
be
can
like
see that.
Instagram level, because LinkedIn's not quite as cool, you have to have, thousands and thousands and thousands of followers to be to the level of, semi-cool on Instagram.
Yeah.
With that
No
math,
one-
I got like 4 Instagram followers.
No one cares about us on LinkedIn. We're just here pretending.
Yeah.
Sultan's killing
It's
it with the
not
comments
real.
though. Sultan just said micro dose, which is obviously another good one too.
Real influencers
Microdose.
don't actually have relationships with the people that are following them. I think that is where the LinkedIn versus Instagram problem comes in. Like, you can only be
True.
truly an influencer if you can look down upon all the people following you from below.
Wow. More snark to follow.
That's deep. That is deep.
Follow.
Okay,
Well-
I have an idea to finish up the show, unless Kevin
Go
has
ahead.
a better idea.
All right.
Oh, where's this going?
From
Let's
your glory
compare and contrast.
days, what playlist do you have of music from your glory days? And we have to start with Rob here. So when you want to
Wait, what's
relive your most
Kevin's?
magical
I thought you were
youth-
comparing.
Or well, Kevin, what's your question? And then we can answer whichever one's better.
No.
Yes and
I have no question. Please,
Okay.
Rob.
I have 2 playlists for my glory days that I listen to a lot, and one is all old 90s house music, and the other one is 90s jungle drum and bass, which is a pretty niche genre of music that a lot of people probably don't know what it is.
Nope.
Kevin was too busy stealing cars to listen to that.
And then I
It
put my
wasn't
hip hop in
ludicrous.
there.
It was not in Fast and Furious, so we don't
No.
know it.
Definitely not. It wasn't ludicrous, so
So it didn't exist.
it didn't exist.
Be love.
If we're going with like the best year of my life, it would be like Duke basketball music, like what we would watch at a Duke
that?
basketball game. There's a specific playlist. And then if it was like glory days, like high school days, it would be Matchbox 20 and Aerosmith.
Aerosmith was good.
Bon Jovi, the latter stuff, I think.
Bon Jovi was the best concert I've ever been to. That man played for 2.5 hours and he was doing 4 consecutive shows and they were all that long. It was
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
nuts. And that was like 10 years ago, but he was already old. So like respect.
Yeah.
Quick
Kevin.
sidebar on that. When I turned 40 a couple years ago, my children said that Bon Jovi was the theme person of my life because I was halfway there.
Yeah. Gotta love those kids.
That was harsh.
I
Kevin.
mean, at least they picked a good lyric.
I would have may he rest in peace, DMX. It'd be like Usher. It would be let's see, who was I listening to? Yeah, I mean, high school, like my theme music was Rough Rider Anthem. Oh my gosh, I played that everywhere. So rest in peace. So I'll just go with that. Rough Riders, DMX. So hip hop and R&B all day, and then every now and again I throw in some Sublime. Don't ask me why.
Chelsea.
If we're going high school, mine was all like mainstream hip hop. I don't have glory days. My glory days are now.
Okay, so what's your playlist now?
That's fair.
Everything. I do have a bad bitch playlist that consists of like,
Oh,
high female songs like,
Oh my
We're Gonna
God,
Take
you
Over
need
the
to
World,
share
those
this
types
with
of things.
me.
Okay. So it's my morning dance party playlist. So
Yeah, just add it to your MySpace page. That's all.
Michael's calling out some really good drum and bass artists here. Michael, yeah, Pendulum and High Contrast. That's some really good quality drum and bass music. Awesome stuff.
Now you guys know what to Spotify for.
Oh, Sultan, I'm comfortably heading into my mid-40s this year.
Get them.
Mine was like, so I still have my
Doing it well,
90s
doing it well.
femme pop list with it. It's like, I don't know, like Britney Spears, No Doubt, Hole, that like those kinds of bands. But then like Eminem, like I still know all the words to the Marshall Mathers LP and I will blast that any day of the week. I used to be a huge P. Diddy fan. And other than that, it was a lot of Canadian bands. Our Lady Peace,
I went
God.
to an Our Lady Peace concert in Canada, Sarnia.
I never saw them live, so I'm kind of jealous right now.
It
was Moist,
one of
which
my
was a
friends to go to
great
prom.
band name. Like if you have a band, name it Moist because it's a fun word to say. And then what
It's
was
not. No, I disagree.
and then Huxley Workman, who is still like one day Huxley Workman, he still plays a lot of shows in Canada and he was somewhat known in Amsterdam as well. And when the pandemic is over, my goal is to hunt down a show that he is playing somewhere in the world and go see him.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, so good. I mean, if you guys need good Canadian bands, hit up me and Rob, especially me for the old ones.
I'll probably hit up Rob, but anyway. Well, guys, it's been real.
Is there a way to end this? Is there like
It's
a
been
video
fun.
or something?
Probably not.
I sent it to you.
She's trying to nudge me. She like if she was next to me, she'd be doing this right here. A lot.
I'd be
a
like
lot.
kicking you
Actually,
Kicking you under the table. Under
If
the
she
table.
was next to me, let's keep it real. She'd probably be like, Kev.
I don't slap.
I was told that sometime I was supposed to be like phased out before the end, and I'm like, when am I going
Probably.
to my
But
drink?
Kevin's on the show, and
Kevin's
I
running the
didn't-
show, and things get awkward. It's
And
fine.
we were talking, and then
Yeah.
I just forgot. To be quite honest, so apologies there. But so what Jennifer, not Jen, was talking about is we have an outro, guys. Wait, but before we do that, did anybody want to say anything before we? Because that was
Yeah, no, okay.
Was there any
Thank you.
takeaways? Any leads?
Thank you, Bila, for being the guest that thought you were dropping in, but then you stayed for dinner
A guest
against
that
your
never
will.
left.
And then I had to come like 10 minutes early last second when I wanted to get water.
Yeah, no, but you didn't
My
need
pleasure.
that water.
We thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob, for coming
Yes.
in, telling us about your acid trip, your near-death experience, and informing us that ambulance buses do
Are
exist.
real.
Their thing.
That
Can
is-
be your
And
next
I would
story.
say for future Snark guests, here's the question you should ask. Who is hosting? Is it Kevin?
Well, you think your shows run any better? I've seen your shows.
This is
Let's not-
advice specifically
Let's not
for
even-
the
Oh.
backup guests that
Oh,
think they're only
Kevin.
going to be there for a short period of time. Just
I mean, when is Travis just going to produce our show for us? And we can give him all revenue from our show because we don't have any revenue from our show.
We will give him all the revenue from our show.
if you would like to donate,
Deal.
here is a link. No.
Profit sharing is in play, Travis. If you're watching on a replay, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I got a lot of hats. I'll shoot you one if you need one. I got a lot of hats. If you need one, I get you one, homie.
Imagine you could live like Kevin.
We could trade like snarks for producing. Totally.
I mean, because everyone
Easily.
needs more
It's
money in
fine.
life.
Everybody needs
Thank
that.
you, Chelsea. Thank you, Jennifer. Ish. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much, Beloved, Brittany. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your day, your energy. I love your stories. Y'all are crazy, but perfect for the Snark Show. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and press that button. We're a little over.
Oh,
Y'all have
and
a
thanks to our
wonderful
friends who hung for
Friday.
an hour and 39 minutes
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
a
The whole time. It's
Friday.
awesome.
questionably quality.
Heck yeah,
Produced
for
show.
enjoying with us. You guys always make this show what it is, which is I don't know, but it's thanks to you guys.
Whatever
Bye,
it is.
y'all.
It's good. It's fine.
Whatever it is.
Later.